Got there. 6 to win, 4 for a super over. More.
G'day and welcome to the GameDay Squad Aus Cricket Fantasy Show. I'm Dill, that's Stu, and that's Haz, and we are the Fantasy Bros. We've partnered with GameDay Squad to bring you all you need to know to succeed in this season's Aus Cricket competition. Haz, what can our viewers and listeners expect from us this season?
G'day, mate. G'day, Stu. We have 2 team previews left, and we will go through their ins and outs, their likely 11s, must-have players, young gun, and potential MVP candidates. And I believe there's going to be some exciting pack opening competition where you, the viewers, can win some pretty special prizes. We will also drop our positional ranking shows over the next couple of weeks, leading into the start of the season. So don't forget to like and subscribe across all our socials to keep up to date. Just search at FantasyBros AU.
Yeah, g'day Dill and g'day Haz. You definitely do not want to miss that. Look, guys, there's still plenty of time to get involved and jump in, get on board with GameDay Squad and get your squad stacked and ready to go for this summer. You can rip into this summer's season of cricket and sign up using the very special promo code SUMMER. That's all capital letters, SUMMER. And you'll get 3x3 player common packs, and that'll get your squads rolling and ready for this season of Aus Cricket. So that's SUMMER in all caps, and that has to be done during the sign-up process. So make sure you get onto the app or get onto the GameDay Squad website and get involved as quickly as you can.
Yeah, unreal promo. And look, talking about promos, we've got another one that we're running at the moment. You will see that later on in the show. We have the giveaway pool where we've got plenty of player cards to give away. We'll be opening more packs for those. But also, for you to get involved, we've got an extra special way. Head over to our brand new website, www.fantasybrosau.com. Download the brand new fantasy textbook. That is BBL 15 fantasy textbook. It is your preseason guide to everything Aus Cricket for GameDay Squad. Show us that you've downloaded that, you're getting involved, and we'll give you an extra draw into the giveaway. So you're silly not to. Head over to the website once you've finished with this show. Look, let's jump into the show today. Today we are previewing the Sixers. Stu, let us know about how the Sydney Sixers are looking this season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They were probably one of the top 2 sides last year, along with the Hobart Hurricanes, although they did fail to make that grand final, the final, toppled by their counterparts there in Sydney. The Thunder sort of came from nowhere, didn't they? The Sixers have had so much success in recent years, and look, it looks like continuing for another season or 2 because they've got an incredibly strong squad and made some fantastic additions to that team. Those additions include Lachlan Shaw, who's a young keeper batsman, and he was a member of the Australian Under-19 World Cup side back in 2022. They've also signed the 34-year-old Kane Richardson from the Renegades, and they're probably hoping that he's got 1 or 2 more good seasons with the ball left in him. But it's really the international signings that stand out and make this side unreal. They've obviously made massive headlines across the world with their signing of Pakistani captain Babar Azam. They've got Jaffa Chauhan from England back amongst their bowling stocks, and Sammy Curran from England as well, brother of Tom Curran. He won't be available for the start of the tournament, but he is certainly going to be available in the back end, as well as any finals matches that they play. And I expect this side to be amongst the finals. You've only got to look at their likely 11 for round 1 just to see how strong they are. Despite a couple of losses from last season, they do have youngster Lockie Hearn off to the Heat. Jackson Bird won't be amongst their bowling group this season. Joshy Hazelwood is technically off their list, but he never gets a game anyway. And they've lost Curtis Patterson as well, but he hasn't offered too much with the bat in recent years. But this likely 11 for round 1 is only going to get stronger as well throughout the season when a few other players get back. And look at that opening, that top 3 there, and Josh Philippe, Babar Azam, and Jack Edwards. Jack Edwards could float anywhere from sort of 3 to 6. And they've got Moses Enriquez, Jordan Silk, and that young Lachlan Shaw, who might be available round 1 and give us that wicketkeeper spot that everyone's desperately hoping will occur. Then look at their bowling group as well. They've got Benny Dwarshuis, who was outstanding with both bat and ball last season. Hayden Kerr toils away nicely with bat and ball as well. Kane Richardson's got plenty of international experience. Then that Englishman, Jaffa Chauhan, forming a spinning duo there with Todd Murphy. So, yeah, look, that's a pretty strong lineup, boys. And I think this team will go pretty deep into the finals once again.
Yeah, I think the key for me is that Jackie Edwards. Look at the bowling lineups there, and you don't have a lot of pace outside of Dwarshuis and Richardson. I know Kerr bowls sort of his mediums, but I think Jackie Edwards is going to play a big part there, and no doubt he'll play a big part in the show today. Alrighty, with that, let's get into our must-haves, where Stu has and I will select one batter, bowler, and all-rounder that you simply must have in your GDS lineups. Stu, you're up first today. Who have you got in the bat position?
Yeah, look, I mentioned earlier that the Sixers, they've landed one of the more impressive signings in BBL history, really, in that man Pakistani batting sensation, Babar Azam. He's actually got 6 million followers on Instagram, boys. That's 2 million more than our very own Steve Smith. So, look, that surely says something not only about his reputation, but what he's going to be bringing to this tournament. He made his debut for Pakistan back in 2015. And he boasts one of the more impressive batting records across all three formats. He averages 42 in tests, 53 in ODIs, and a massive 40 in 134 T20 internationals. His list of records in the T20 arena is insane. He's got the most T20I runs of any player with over 4,300. He's got the most 50s with 40. He's hit the most fours with 457. And he's currently the fastest player to reach 2,500 international runs. The Sixers have got themselves an absolute gem here, and provided he can acclimatise to the conditions in Australia, I think he could very well be the leading run scorer come at the end of the season. He's played 8 ODIs here in Australia, and he's averaged 60, which is really impressive. But across 13 T20s, that average is only 24. He's coming into this year's tournament after finding a little bit of recent form. He was in a bit of a dry patch and hadn't scored 100 in about 900 days across all three formats. He had his first century since 2023 with the match-winning 102 not out of 119 against Sri Lanka in a 50-over match. He's going to form a really formidable opening partnership there with Josh Philippe. He's going to give the Sixers bowlers plenty of runs to defend, I dare say. I can't wait to see him bat here in the Big Bash, and I'm glad that I card. Because that's going to go straight into my champion team, and hopefully a few players are going to be scrambling for a Babar Azam card come round one.
Yeah, no doubt. Being added to the player pool, new player into the squad, pretty keen to get him into my side as well. I think the key, as you said, is that partnership at the top with Josh Philippe. We know we had a couple of good games from him last season, but then the back end, he sort of fell off and didn't score too many runs. I think he finished with about 30 runs at the end of the season in the last 5 games or so. So definitely looking for that partnership up top. Already has, over to you now, mate. Who's your must-have bowler?
The Sixers don't have many bowler-only options again this year due to that all-round heavy lineup that you kind of mentioned earlier, Stu, with the predicted 11. I think the signing Kane Richardson could be a very handy addition to their bowling attack from a game day squad perspective. Richardson has been a genuine wicket taker throughout his BBL career. Across those 116 matches, he's claimed 141 wickets, which actually places him 4th on the all-time BBL wicket takers list. His strike rate is actually pretty impressive, taking a wicket every 17 and a half balls. Most of his damage has come at the death, where his slower balls, cutters, and Yorkers make him incredibly difficult to get away. He's taken 83 wickets in the death phase alone, the equal most death over wickets in BBL history, with AJ Ty, which just shows just how effective his variations can be. Last season with the Renegades, Richardson averaged only 29 GDS points across his 7 games. He took 6 wickets from those 7 games, proving he's still a threat when fit and firing. However, that scoring was boosted pretty heavily by a 74-point performance in his final game of the season, the only game where he managed to collect multiple wickets. If we go back to BBL 13, Richardson only played the 6 games. However, he averaged a solid 35.5 GDS points. This shows that Richardson does have a pretty capped ceiling due to his reliance on taking wickets to boost that score, because he doesn't offer anything with the bat. He batted at number 11 in all 7 matches last season and scored a total of 11 runs. And I'd only be looking to play Richardson if he is selected in that final 11 during the Sixers' first couple games of the season, due to that wicket-taking potential. Especially as the season progresses, though, it becomes less appealing. Looking at that Sixers predicted 11 we mentioned earlier, big names Sean Abbott, Sam Curran, and Mitch Starc are expected to miss the start of the season. Once those three are available, they'll slot straight into the side, which means Richardson becomes at legitimate risk of dropping out of the 11. So just pick and play accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice there, the pick and play accordingly. Obviously, those few big names coming back, but I think the key for me is the Sixers have double prize rounds in round 1, 5, and 8. So we're not sure when some of those blokes are coming back from Ashes duty or injury, but at least it won't be till round 10, I would suggest. And so there's a really good opportunity there to get Richardson into your side in those double prize rounds where you might not have many other bowling opportunities or options outside of that from the Sixers. So I think that's a really good shout there, particularly with that double prize round. Remembering there are 4 double prize rounds throughout the season, and the Sixers are playing all of them. Already into the all-rounder, and look, my all-rounder is Benny Dwarshuis, and a lot of veteran coaches out there listening and watching will probably think I've gone a bit mad selecting Dwarshuis as the all-rounder. But if we go and have a look at the changes to this season, he has been shifted into that all-rounder position rather than the straight out-and-out bowling position that we've had in the past, which may be potentially a downside for him. I know that we liked what we saw from him last season due to his ability to bat as well. But look, I think it's still key to get him into your side as much as you can. Last season, Dwarsh played 8 games and he scored a combined 447 points, which saw him ranked 3rd for bowlers. He averaged 55.9. He came in 6th with that average, but those top 3 bowlers in the averages all had less than 8 games under their belt. So if we negate that, he's in the top 3 there. Those points came about due to the 12 wickets that he took, the 73 dot balls, and a 4-wicket haul as well in one of those matches, earning him that bonus. So really important to go and check out the scoring there as well. However, as I mentioned, it's not just the ball in hand that we really want him. It's the ability for him to go out and smash some runs at the back end of an innings, or potentially save an innings as well, which we saw a couple of times. He smashed 100 runs in 6 innings last season, and generally he came out at about that 8 position. He did have a knock at 5 and a knock at 7 as well. He potentially moves up the order. We could see him sort of coming out at that 6, 7 maybe, with the likes of people like Abbott injured. Hughes, we probably don't see him starting in the side, and then Patterson obviously out of the squad completely. So there's a bit of a shuffle there, and we might see him come in a little bit earlier in that round 1 side. So look, no matter what, whether he comes in at 6, whether he comes down at 8, I think he's going to have a huge impact for the Sixers. Although we go back and have a look at his preseason form, he didn't have a massive impact against New Zealand or India. He didn't have a huge opportunity either due to some of those games being rained out, but he still averaged 29 GDS points. But if we go back earlier in the year and have a look, go and have a look at some of the footage against West Indies and South Africa, go and have a look at that true dominance that he had with bat and ball. He had some unreal games there. And I think off just that sort of form, I'm keen to get him to my side as quickly as possible.
Yeah, mate, I'm disappointed that he has got that change from bowler to all-rounder. It would have been a bit of a cheat code, I guess, if he did stay in the bowler spot, because any bowler that can take as many wickets as Benny Dwarshuis, but can also swing the bat just as well, is definitely a cheat code in that bowler spot. So coaches will need to be a little bit more selective with their all-rounders in Sydney Sixers matches, given that he can't be an easy slot into the bowler position. I actually like it from a strategical point of view, but it just makes things a little bit harder. But I think he's in for another big season. And I was very close to selecting his prize card last season. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite me. And let's hope that Stephen Smith can come back late on in the season and prove that pick correct for me.
Do exactly the same thing he did at the back end of last season. Alrighty, let's jump into the next round of players. We're looking at our young gun, our fade, and our MVP. And Stu, we're going to kick it off with the fade. And it's someone I think we probably faded pretty much the last couple of years of GameDay Squad.
Yeah, we have. But look, without knowing the name, eyebrows might be raised when we're talking about fading a bloke with 2,400 T20 runs to his name and an average of 30 and a strike rate of 125. And that's exactly what Jordan Silk does average, but it's just the uncertainty over his role. That means I'll be looking at plenty of other options in the bat position when the Sixers are playing. He's unlikely to bat in the top 4, well, all but unlikely. He'll probably bat at 5 or 6 at the earliest, but look, he's no guarantee of getting meaningful time in the middle. They've got some really strong, powerful hitters at the top of the innings, and then they've got some big hitters, like you mentioned, in Dwarshuis, Sammy Curran when he comes back, Hayden Kerr as well. So look, they might opt to throw some of these guys in the back end of the innings and just get them to swing the ball over the fence because they're pretty capable. And Silky's a bit more of a grafter. He sort of can punch the ball around quite well in the middle of an innings. When he's got to put on the acceleration and get going, sometimes he can go really well, but other times he really struggles. So, look, it's just that role for me. There's plenty of other handy options in the Sixers team. And of the 11 matches that he played last season, he didn't bat on 3 occasions. So if he was in your team for any of those 3 matches, you're ending up with a 0 unless he's got a catch or a run out in the field, which he is capable of. He does field in some of those dangerous hotspots, but we don't want to be relying on a batsman who's getting points in the field only. In 3 other of those matches, he also finished not out, meaning he didn't spend a super long time in the middle, but he was able to see out the innings or guide his team home. What that does tell us is that he's not getting that meaningful time out in the middle. And when we want to talk upside, look, we got to pick someone that's higher up in that order. If their bowling attack comes out and fires like we're expecting they do, and they can bowl out an opposition team for 120, 130, there's every chance that Silky doesn't get a look in there in the top 3 or 4, get the job done. We know he's a weapon in the field. And Moses Enriquez does use him in some of those hot spots. So he might have a bit of a safe floor through those fielding points. But yeah, look, I just can't rely on him as a bat-only option. They've got plenty of other decent bats there. I'm going to look past Silky unless he somehow manages to turn into prime Stephen Smith.
Yeah, look, the tough thing for me is I just can't imagine a world where I'm playing Silky and he's only going up by 8 points because he's taken a couple of catches. The other thing I think is important to note is that if the Sydney Sixers lose a couple of players in the power play, I feel like they just jump straight past Silky and they look for someone like the players that we talked about before in terms of Edwards, maybe Dwarshuis comes in, maybe even Hayden Kerr comes in and for that power hitting. So, yeah, I can't see a world where Silky comes in the power play or has an opportunity in the power play very often where we know they can score plenty of runs. So, yeah, I'm all with you on Silky. I think he's an absolute fade. We just sit back and enjoy his catches in the field and what he does to make some of those crazy catches. Alrighty, on to the young gun, and I've got the young gun today, and it is that man Lockie Shaw that we mentioned earlier. Look, he's come roaring into probably everyone's minds, the coaches' minds recently, and for good reason. We've obviously seen the big change, one of the big player position changes in Josh Philippe moving from a wicketkeeper to batsman only. And that is, as a result, it really brings Lockie Shaw to the fore. He's the only listed wicketkeeper in the Sydney Sixers side. So we're predicting that he does make the squad. And it's going to be super important that you get your hands on a Lockie Shaw card, particularly in round 1, where we've only got the one game and we've got the Scorchers up against the Sixers, and Inglis more than likely will still be with the Ashes squad. So Lockie Shaw might be the only wicketkeeper available. Look, he could find his way into that starting 11, as we said, more than likely take the gloves, and it should be a pretty good start to the season for him. His preseason's been pretty bright as well, featuring in the Australian A side against India A. He had 2 cracks at bat in 3 games where he combined for 77 runs, batting at 4 and then at 6 as well. He was also given the gloves in their first match against India A, where he took 2 catches. So he's being entrusted with the gloves there at the international level. So hopefully he can at this Big Bash level as well. Look, he also had a taste of Big Bash cricket last season, where he featured in 4 regular season games as well as the final series. And he had a pretty slow start in that first Big Bash sort of taste to his career, but he finished really strong. He came out at 6 and smashed 32 off 21 balls up against the strikers in one of their last preseason games. And then he had similar sort of stats in their first final comp as well. So I think he scored 33 in that one. So he really could be a key player for us in round 1, where we've got that double prize. So make sure you jump onto the marketplace, see if there's any Lockie Shaws there. Check out the textbook because it's got all the latest market prices for you as well. And then if you can't find it, jump in and rip some packs. Let's make sure we get that Lockie Shaw into our side for round 1.
And if you think you're going to struggle for Lockie Shaw in round 1, guys, hit me up on the Discord server. I've got 2 Lockie Shaw diamond cards that I'm happy to trade one of them for something handy. I don't think there's going to be many of him out there. And if he does get a start in round 1 and I'm hanging on to 2 of those diamond cards, come on, boys, get in my DM. Let me know if you're keen on that Lachlan Shaw.
Yeah. I'm jumping in right now, mate. I need one for sure. Alrighty, you've got MVP, and I think we've already touched on him before, but who is your MVP for the Sixers?
So Jack Edwards is someone we mentioned earlier, and I think someone who is I'm backing to have a big bounce back season after a slightly underwhelming BBL 14. He only averaged the 36.6 GDS points, down on his average of 44 from BBL 13. He's long been considered an emerging talent in Australian cricket, but we're still waiting for that truly big breakout campaign where we just sit back and go, wow. His struggles last season were largely with the bat, managing only 90 runs across the tournament. A big part of that came down to a bit of an unsettled role in that batting order. When he batted at number 3, which he did in half of his innings, he averaged an impressive 57.3 GDS points, amassing 73 runs and 4 wickets in those 4 outings. The concern comes when he slides down that order. At number 5 or lower, he averaged just 22 GDS points, highlighting how crucial his role is to his scoring. We don't see Edwards' role changing too much this season, which is a good news and a big reason why I believe he will be the Sixers MVP this season. He should once again bowl close to his full allotment of overs and slot in at first drop, giving him consistent scoring opportunities with both bat and ball. Despite a modest BBL career high score of 47 from 39 innings, I expect he betters that not only once, but I reckon in multiple times this season. Edwards recently impressed for the Washington Freedom in the MLC, where he looked far more settled. Across those 7 innings, he scored 152 runs at a strike rate of 129.91 with a top score of 42. But it was with the ball where he really shone, taking 14 wickets from those 12 innings, including a best of 3 for 15. I guess we could say the one big concern is his current batting form in the One Day Cup for New South Wales, where he's got recent scores in his last 3 games, which read the following: Golden Duck, 1, and a duck of 3 balls. So hopefully that form has taken a bit of a turn for the good in the most recent Shield game that just finished up against Tassie, where he finally managed to get some extended time in the middle, scoring 39 not out and 38. I think it was off 100 and something balls in his 2 bats against Tassie. So we've seen time and time again how influential he can be when he gets going in both disciplines. With the Sixers dealing with injuries and key players missing due to national duties early in the season, Edwards should have ample opportunity and responsibility early in the tournament. And that combination of role, volume, and all-round potential makes him an ideal MVP candidate for the Sixers this season.
Yeah, and I look, you talked about his stats from last season. I think that it was a bit unlucky. He had one game where I'm pretty sure he took 2 wickets in the first over of the game, and then 2 overs later, the game was rained out. So he didn't get any of those GDS points added to his total or his average. And I think that would have made a huge difference. And so we know what sort of talent he is. Look, just quietly as well, how good is Major League Cricket over in America? The name's Washington Freedom, and then the San Francisco Unicorns. It is unreal over there. Get around the MLC. Alrighty, that was our MVP, Young Gun, and Fade. We are going to jump straight into our favorite part of the episode now, where we're going to open a 3-player rare all-star pack. And if any Sixers players are pulled, they're going to go straight into that giveaway pool. And look, just go back and have a look at last week's episode. Check out the pool that we got in that episode. Absolutely ridiculous. My pool rate for All-Stars has not been good this season. However, I pulled one just for you guys. It is now in the giveaway pool, so you're silly not to get involved. To enter that, all you need to do is follow us, FantasyBros, YouTube, Spotify, and or Apple Music podcast, and like the video, the podcast, and comment your Young Gun, Fade, and MVP Sixers player for 25-26 season. Really easy to get involved. Without much more ado, let's get into opening some packs, our favorite part. Alrighty, I'm going to jump across. I should be able to have my screen there. And can we see the rare pack there, boys?
Yep, got it.
Beautiful. Here we go. Good luck. Let's hope for a
Bendorcious
Sydney Sixers. Alrighty, first up, we have a gold Steve Smith. Ooh. Boom. Straight into the giveaway. Love it. Next up, we have a Joe Clark gold, and we'll finish off this pack with a Riley Meredith gold. No All-Stars, unfortunately, but an All-Star in his own right, Steve Smith, and it's a gold one there as well. That's going straight into the giveaway pool. So once again, make sure you jump onto YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast. Comment your Young Gun Fade and an MVP to get involved. You can comment on every one of our shows so far, and that would be a total of 8 entries into the draw if you do each one of those once these are dropped, as well as that bonus one by checking out the textbook and letting us know that you've downloaded it. Alrighty, that's it, boys. Another team preview down. We've only got one left. Remember, new users, make sure you sign up. Use the promo code SUMMER, SUMMER, all capital letters, to get yourself a three-player common pack to start your squad. And then you get plenty of bronze packs as well to get involved. There's plenty of opportunities as well to keep getting packs, especially for new users. We've got a tutorial running where you can check off the checklist and get bonus packs. They've also got a little cheeky update in there as well with a special somebody in the app to help you with everything that you need. So go and check it out. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to one more preview and then over into the positional rankings. Thanks, boys. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode by the Fantasy Bros. If you want to show your support, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this show on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Also, make sure you check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search @FantasyBros AU.